Okay, we're back in the shop today. It's kind of a downtime day. This is the new Cobalt toolbox that I got. I've got another one that's a much older style, and I've got several other toolboxes. This is actually the first one I bought that has this open face, and I really like it. Today we're going to fix that face mill that I programmed to drive into the vise last week. And I picked up two of them just in case I ever do that again. I also got some carbide drills, and I got a couple other little things that I'm going to go through kind of as I do this toolbox. The big thing I want to get done today, I've only had this toolbox a couple of days, and it's almost kind of getting cluttered, and things don't get put back where they need to go, and I've kind of got it laid out how I want it, and I've got more tools to put in it. But I'm going to go ahead and start doing the Kaizen foam inside these drawers. And my other Cobalt box is mainly mechanics tools, and I've got it foamed, and actually I have some plastic holders and stuff too. But this stuff should work really well about taking a lot of the tools that are either already in an enclosure, or that really need to be flipped, because the drawers are fairly high in this, to consolidate space and keep everything together. The biggest thing I like about this foam is if you're missing something, you can visually see that you're missing it and get it where it's supposed to go. So I'm going to get this cut loose here. This is how it shipped to me. Got it on Amazon. I think these are 2 by 4 foot sheets. It's extremely light. It's well packed. Basically they just kind of tape them all together and send them to you. Okay, I got the first piece out, and I just wanted to mention, if you get these and they're packed like this, the easiest way to open them is to find the side that actually has the little tabs. Let's scoot this over where you can see it. Basically find the side that's got the tabs. Leave them partially taped together, that way you can use it as you need it and keep everything else cardboarded up. And if you need to, you can actually slide a piece back down in this container and then just get rid of the cardboard as you go. Just a quick tip on getting this in. It'd actually take a lot longer to actually unbox all of these, and I don't need all of them at one time. I need one per drawer, so I'm going to knock those out real quick, and I'll move the camera a little closer so you can see what I'm doing in the drawers. I'm not going to do them all. There's plenty of videos on this phone. Just kind of show you kind of how I'm consolidating a drawer, and that'll apply to everything else that I do. Okay, how we fit this on my particular box, I had to cut it to length to fit the depth, and then I had to trim off some off the side. And basically the way I did that, and pretty much this is all eyeballed. I didn't use any complicated things other than a level. I used that to make a straight edge, and I used their knife. I think these are like $9 on Amazon, and I like the blade design. You can pick something up similar to this at Lowe's. The only thing I'll note, I think on the ones that I do have, I don't think the blade's this wide. But basically once you make your first cut, it'll open up a gap, and if you'll go back into that same cut, you can follow that line almost exactly. And the way this stuff works, if you haven't seen a video on it, is basically you cut down the depth that you need around the part, and you can actually adjust the depth as you go around the part. And you basically want to peel this up, and by peel it I don't mean like get it started like you would a sticker. You actually want to start driving your fingers underneath and releasing it. You can feel it, and it's a thing that the first time that I did it, you try to peel up from the edge and you keep trying to peel. Don't do that. Basically just get your fingers up underneath it and dig up under, and it'll come off the way it's supposed to and look really nice. Okay, the two things that were already in this drawer, one is this large stone and a small stone, and I have some other items I want to put in this drawer. So basically we're going to cut out for these, and we're going to get them placed. The big thing is I had containers for both of these. This one was broke, and it was you had to mess with it to try to get it closed back and get it put back where it's supposed to go. and this was just in its cardboard container. I can get rid of these now, which it decreases my time that I need to mess with putting it back up. And also I have a place in the toolbox for it. And that's what's most important about, you know, foaming a toolbox, or, you know, buying some kind of organizer. So I'm going to cut these out real quick and get them placed. Okay, so I got the first stone placed, and basically I peeled this out as basically two pieces, and sometimes that happens like right around the corner if you don't get it. But like I say, you basically want to work your fingers in between the layer and keep your fingers in the layer. I'm going to peel out the one for the big stone now. Okay, there's the large stone. So all in all, it goes pretty quick, and you can take as much depth out as you want. Typically what I do when I first start, I'll take the minimum amount of depth, because if you really had to, or you really have to reconfigure tools, you've got more material still left to work with, and you can actually cut deeper and make a new pattern. And that seems to work really well for after the fact, because I won't change this too much, but I know that something will change. And you can do a couple of things. You can use your spare to put back in an area. You can kind of splice this stuff together, especially if it's in a tight drawer. Okay, so I've got a little bit done here. Basically, we've got the stones in, we've got a set of parallels, some 1, 2, 3 blocks, and some V blocks. And basically, you know, it's basically, I don't even mess with drawing the things. I actually lay the part on and cut, and you can pretty much eyeball it and get what you want. The only thing is, if you do something really wide like this stone, you really need to be careful. When you get your fingers in, you're going to kind of want to go from side to side also and clear up material. If you miss a section of material, it'll kind of peel funny, and you'll have to kind of get back underneath it again. Anyway, I hope this kind of gives you the idea of why you would want to do this. And basically, so you know, these things are stored up vertically. Thinking back, I could have actually done this stone flipped up. I checked it, and I would have had just enough clearance. I could have actually flipped the stone up and gained, you know, another inch or so. And an inch in a toolbox is a lot of room. But this is all combined and packed in a lot tighter than it was. Prior to this, these tools would have been laying like this, just so they didn't flip over when I open and shut drawers. It being down in the foam, you don't have to worry about that. Basically, you can open and shut drawers with them standing straight up, and you don't really have any issues like that. So it's really a space saver. I know what's missing, what's not missing. I can put lock tools together in an area. It just helps keep me better organized. Okay, moving right along, I'm doing one of the short drawers. And just to give you an idea, these cases, everything that's in this drawer basically filled up this entire drawer, and there was no room for anything else. I've basically taken everything out. In a lot of these cases, I mean, this is a nice velvet sterret case. This would last forever, and I'd be fine leaving it in this, leaving the tools in this. But you take a case like this, or even one of the the Chinese made. This is actually held up really well. This is dried out a little bit. This stuff starts sticking and deteriorating on the tools. So I'm going to keep this in a cardboard box, basically pack it up and put it in the shop, in case this is already probably older than I am, and I want to take care of it. But it is something I use, so I've put that here in this case and laid out everything. Everything goes together. There's a small ball adapter for this sterret and a wrench, and I've got a thread mic here. I've got Minotoyo digital mic. I've got this is not a real, this is actually a clone. Before I get any comments, I'm aware that this is a clone. And this is my larger caliper, and I've basically got my square here, and just to kind of give you an idea of what this looks like, you can see it's really easy to tell where to put the tool, where the tool belongs, and it's really easy to open up a drawer and see if something's missing. So not only is this going to keep it more organized, this is actually going to allow me to shift over all of these cases that I had, and I can put more tools in the same toolbox. And I could buy more toolboxes. That's typically what I've done in the past. The problem is more toolboxes means you have to walk further. You need more room to store them. It's just not as efficient. So this works really good. I've done these 2 drawers in about 30 minutes, just taking my time. Again, I'm shooting video and editing video, so that accounts for some of that time. But it doesn't take very long. None of these did I trace out a pattern or anything like that. I basically just set the part down and eyeballed it. I've never been a real big proponent of spending forever. I'm looking at greater efficiency, and spending hours and hours and hours trying to get this exactly perfect is not very efficient. But this is good enough, and it looks great. I'm going to kind of tilt the camera up here where you can maybe get a better look. As you can see, they fit nice. There's not too much slop, and everything's pretty much level, and the drawers close. Okay, I'm going to do some more. A couple of things I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do yet are things like this. This is just a cheap China tele gauge. I don't think that I really want to go to the time of actually putting these individually in here. The big problem with this is it takes up a lot of room. Obviously if we do that, it's going to take up room. And I think there's something better that I could do. I'll probably relocate that to maybe a drawer, or maybe up top here, and actually have it sitting like this. I may even put some Velcro or something on the back and actually put it on the toolbox somewhere, just to save a little space and make it more handy to get to. The big thing that you lose if you take these out is, they're all labeled. And you can kind of eyeball and tell what they are, but it's always nice to actually be able to tell what you've got. I don't know if the Sterrets or Brown & Sharps actually label theirs. If they did, that would be a really nice solution. The way they do theirs is they have lettered, the standard lettered designation, which I can never remember, so I always have to go back and look at this, or just kind of know that's the one I need. Okay, I've spent about another hour on this. And basically, I've got all my main measurement tools in this, and this was spread out over 3 actual separate drawers, and now it's all in one. So that's pretty significant weight savings, or space savings, and the weight of the actual holders. I also got this drawer. Get that in the camera there. I got this drawer basically started. I got a couple more things to put in here. I've got my really big stuff, 236 block stuff like that's going down here in this holder. I haven't done anything with this because I'll probably get another BT40 down in this lower drawer. This is what's in here. I'll probably get another BT40 or Cat 40, a 40 taper cart that'll basically work with everything that I have. And I left a couple things out. Again, you know, we got the face mill replacement. This is the one that I trashed last time. And this is the new one. So I kept all the spare parts off the old one. I was able to salvage a couple of the screws. Sometimes those are needed, and it's handy to have. This particular one, it was a 22 millimeter arbor, and the part number on it is a KM125022, and that ends up being a 45 degree face mill. And like I said, I got 2 of those just as backup in case I make a boo-boo again. One thing I'm starting to do is actually keeping a lot of these, and what I'm doing is I'm actually put them on top of each other and putting them in storage, and then once that storage box fills up, then I start throwing them away. That way I've got some spares if I need to, you know, house anything or protect anything from possible water or something like that. Okay, well that's it for tonight. Like I said, this is kind of some downtime, and basically I've spent pretty much the evening just organizing the toolbox. I've had this for about a week, and it's really drastically improved the new machine. I kind of had a workflow set up when I had the Haas Mini Mill in the other toolbox, and it was just basically the roll around toolbox. But this has so many more tools. I've kind of collected more stuff that I use on a regular basis. So doing this is you know, already making things a lot faster. Setups are a lot faster. Teardowns are a lot faster. And like I say, I don't really get in a super big rush. I think after the face mill, basically I pulled that entire vise off, cleaned it up, wrapped it, you know, put bow shield on it, and it's kind of just been hanging out. And I'll retrim that. I may retrim that tonight. I'm not really sure. But now that I have the face mill, I'm going to try to get some machining maybe on Friday. I've got a couple of little projects to do. One, I think my cousin, he has a lift, and he wants some risers made, and I may do that. I think I can do most of that on the lathe though. But I'm going to try to get back into it on Friday and just kind of spending, you know, the evening downtime organizing things. I think it's really a good idea, especially in the home machinist world, to kind of just set aside some time where you're not always constantly in mess and making a mess, just kind of organizing things. And I'll tell you unequivocally, this right here, you know, the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours they ended up spending here tonight doing this will save me tenfold throughout the year, just not having to look for a tool, because pretty much everything's identifiable. I mean, worst case, you know, I do find myself still, you know, I'll pull out the wrong drawer, but it's kind of sinking in where everything's at, and that's really speeding up basically everything to do with the machine. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you're interested in this stuff. I have videos on pretty much anything that I mess with that I think may help people. And sometimes I put up a video when I have a question. And that relates to, you know, RVing, side-by-sides, this machining, and I do a lot of electronic projects. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.